you guys. Hope everybody had an amazing weekend, a wonderful Father's Day celebration for those of you that were celebrating with loved ones or family. I heard you guys had an awesome session last week. It is probably the first time that I have missed Rocket Fuel in like 2 years, but it's because I was in Greece.
It was well deserved. It was a good break.
Thank you. But honestly, I heard your session was amazing, Joe.
Well, I just think we're getting back to old school tactics and principles of lead
100%.
generation. Like the days of going on Instagram and looking cute and just getting 20 transactions from it are probably over a little bit. And so hopefully I was able to provide some context and possibly some hope to people like you can do some of the old school things and generate transactions for yourself and for
Yeah.
your team just by going back to kind of basic principles of lead gen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what this entire month of Rocket Fuel is about. United puts a huge focus, as you guys know, on production. And so we're really diving deep on all things related to production. Every session that we've had this month has been amazing. So if you have missed it, for any reason you want to go back and you want to watch the recordings, make sure maybe Leilani, we could just drop into the chat where our YouTube channel where everybody can see the recordings. Yes, YouTube, exactly. Within a few days of every Rocket Fuel session, you can catch the recordings there, and it's just amazing. Guys, there's so few cameras on right now. I don't know what to do with I feel like I need to see some faces. Like this is going to be such a good session. Turn your camera on. Like, it's okay if your hair's not great. Like, it's okay if you just got out of bed, like whatever it is, just turn your cameras on if you don't mind. At least a few more of you would be great. I'm pumped, Joe. We have something really exciting coming in the next couple of weeks, and I think that I just want to make sure that everybody has heard about it. So I'm going to share with you guys something awesome. Give me a second here. Let's hit it.
Yes, I love stuff. It's about that time. It's about that time. I love stuff. It's about that time. It's about that time. Yeah. Ready, set, go. You let me know that I'm saying well. I love stuff. It's about that time. It's about that time. It's about that time.
Woo! Do you guys want to hear something interesting? I have always wanted to do an event called Halftime at the end of June because you have to set yourself up for success for the last half. And that is actually going to be what determines how you start 2026. So halftime is such a critical period in our businesses. Joe, I'm really pumped for this event. It's virtual, which is amazing.
Yep.
The speakers are phenomenal. Why do you think it's so important that everybody that's on this screen registers for this event?
Well, I just think, well, first of all, it's something that we're working hard to bring to people that it's us giving back to the community and our amazing speakers, volunteering to do it is great. I think the key for me is a realization that we allow we allow the industry to happen to us. Yeah. Rather than dictating what we are going to do in this industry. And that's a challenge we've always faced, right? Like agents ride this roller coaster of success and failure, and they get a couple of deals in escrow and then they fall back down and then back up and back down. And then it's like, wow, the interest rates are impacting us. And I guess it's just wrecking my business, or, inventory's up, but I can't find good buyers. And it's like, we allow ourselves to be victimized by the industry. And what your vision with halftime was, which I think is so intelligent, is let's reset. Let's realize it's mid 2025. We know the market. We know what's happening. And now let's reset and propel ourselves forward for the rest of the year. And let's take control of our own businesses. And so many times that has to happen. Like, funny enough, for any of you guys that watch or consume golf, yesterday there was a major golf tournament, the US Open. It was going terrible for this one guy. And there was a rain delay for about an hour and a half. And there's audio of his coach saying to him on the range, preparing to go back out, like, you're thinking too deep about this. Just let it go and do what you know how to do, basically. And then he went out and from way behind came back and won the golf tournament. So it was just so cool to see that. And,
Wow.
and in his interview afterward, he said, I was so grateful for that reset. I was so grateful that the rain came, it caused a pause. I changed my outfit. I put on a new outfit. I needed the reset, and he went out and he did the thing. And so that's what halftime is all about, is whether you're having a good year or not, it's an opportunity to hit the reset button and go, all right, what do I want the rest of 2025 to be? Because guys, the scariest part is 2025 is halfway over, which is crazy.
I know.
It's crazy. So.
It's going to be so good, guys. We just dropped the registration link in the chat. Make sure you register. I want to encourage you to invite colleagues, invite friends to watch either with you, host a watch party. If you run a team, put all your team in one room. It's going to be an amazing event. And the speaker lineup is next level, like next level. Some of the industry's most sought after speakers right now are going to be on that Zoom. And it's going to be rapid fire. It's only a 2-hour event, 4 speakers, 25 minutes a speaker. So they're going to come at you like TED Talk style it's going to be super tactical. I promise it will be so impactful for your business. So yeah, I agree, JR. One of the fastest years going by right now.
Well, and can I share a concern really quick, Aim?
Yeah.
If this event costs $2,000, people would take it more serious. Like part of the challenge we have in our industry is because there's so much content out there that it's almost like if it was like get your credit card out and you went to your significant other and said, I'm going to reinvest in my business and I'm going to pay $2,000, but I'm going to watch some of the best speakers in the industry show up for me and help me reset the rest of my year. I'm going to make it back, no doubt. Like I'm going to do a couple extra deals that are going to give me my $2,000 back. People would take it more serious. And so it's because it's something that is being offered to you without that like massive payment, sometimes people can take it less serious. And so the challenge we issue to you guys is take it serious, organize, get your friends in the industry outside of your company, whatever brokerage you're with, and just bring people together and say like, let's hit the reset button together. Let's get some chicken wings. Let's sit down. Let's watch this amazing event. And so I'm really excited.
Okay, so that's on Wednesday, June the 25th at 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern time. We dropped the link in the chat. We'll drop it again, unitedcommunity.com/events. You can register there. All right. Okay, so about today, we are going to talk all things listings today, and we have 3 superstars who are absolutely killer listing agents. I don't care whether you are at the top of your game for when it comes to taking listings and more importantly, selling listings, or if you are a brand new agent, you are going to learn something today from these incredible leaders and realtors in our industry. First up, Susana Murphy. These guys are from all different places across the US, and they happen to be all 3 American, even though I know there's plenty of Canadians on here too. But I know for a fact that what they are going to share is relevant for every market because I know what they're going to talk about. So I'm excited about that. Susana, I'll give it over to you first.
Hi, United Community. Nice to see you all. I hope everyone had a great Father's Day weekend for those that celebrated. So when Amy asked me to be on this panel and to share something that will help others possibly get listings, I gave her 3 things that really work for me consistently and have for at least a decade that I can count on. And she said, let's go with brochures. And I know this is an unusual one probably to share as far as tactical, but for me, it accounts at least to 2 new listings every single year consistently just by doing what probably most of you already do, which is a property brochure. So first I want to ask if you can just drop on the comment box, do you do your own brochures or do you have a marketing team do your brochures? Put a 1 if you do your own brochures, put a 2 if you have a marketing team do your brochures. Okay, so we actually have a lot.
Yeah, a mixture. A lot of 2. Mm-hmm.
A lot of 2s, I think. A lot of people have help, which is great. So let me just, I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see my file. Is it showing?
No, it's not. Oh, yeah, now it is. Yeah.
Okay, because I can't see you guys anymore, so I just wanted to make sure you can see this. Okay, so how a beautiful property brochure can win you your next listing without even trying. For me, when I got into the industry, I realized that, oops, sorry. My computer is just going too fast. Sorry, it's frozen.
There you go. No, no, it's not. There you go.
All right. So for me, selfishly, this is what happened. I will go to show a property and I will have to repeat over and over and over all the information that buyers were looking for. And oftentimes they want to know how much it costs to hit your house, or does the road get plowed by the town, or whatever is specific to the listing. And I will find myself reaching out to the sellers and getting that information and then getting back to the buyers or getting back to the buyer agents. And that was very inefficient. That will hold the buyers back. And that excitement that they first got when they were first at the property just seemed to go away. In addition to other listings were entering the market. And now I just lost them because I wasn't prepared with all the information. So for me, it started with being able to have absolutely everything inside a brochure that the buyer will need in order to make a decision and purchase the home the moment that they walked into the property. That was the number one reason. And the number two, selfishly, I wanted to capture their attention. So when you're hosting an open house or when you're touring someone through a home, they don't want to talk to you. If they come to an open house, you're going to ask them questions, but all they want to do is they want to see the home, unless you provide them with something of value that they cannot obtain by themselves by simply touring the property. And that is all the information that you would put inside a brochure. So most agents think brochures are just nice to have, but you can use them to actually get yourself new listings. And this is how I use them. Sorry, it's going so fast. Okay, great brochures do three things for us. They tell the story of the home, they have to reflect your brand quality, and they also serve as a silent salesperson for your next deal. Okay, so these are 7 ways as to how we turn our brochures into listing tools for us that help me and our team get new listings. First and foremost, we all have a stack of them from past listings that we've used that we bring to our listing presentations. You guys know what your competition is using for listing brochures because you go through their open houses. And you know when you're up against another listing agent who they are going to interview. So you know how you compare to them as far as marketing. If you can win a listing appointment by showing them the difference between your brochures and their brochures, would you do it? Because that happens to me all the time. And I know it seems so silly because it's just a brochure, but our brochures are a 10. They are very different than most other brochures. So we use them and we show them and we leave them at the properties with them so that the potential new homeowner can also review it. Neighborhood preview events and canvassing. A lot of people canvass, but what if you could canvass with copies of the brochures of the listing that you are about to promote and leave them with them? What if you could do a preview open house for the neighbors only and then hand them the brochure to take home with them? Just sold follow-ups. You sell in the neighborhood, you're gonna have leftover brochures. maybe there are a few of those listings in that neighborhood or in the surrounding neighborhood that you would like to also get. Why not sell them instead of a just sold postcard? Why not just mail them a copy of the brochure and the story as to how you marketed and sold the property?
So I have a question really quickly. So then are you putting like just a quick letter in with the brochure and then that's how you're mailing it?
Yeah, the success story. And you can even put the review of the client that you sold the property.
Right.
If the review mentions marketing, for sure, put it
That's a
on
great
the letter and then attach it to the brochure. And just, you don't have to say, this is what we've done. They're going to read it, they're going to see it.
idea.
Susanna, that I'll tell you right now, that is a nugget,
Huge.
massive, because we do just listed, but we've never sent brochures with a personal note. That is massive. That's awesome.
Are they
Awesome.
targeted to specific homes, like maybe like your circle prospecting around the listing, or maybe where you're like that you're farming if you have the listing in that farm, or are you just blanketing the neighborhood?
No, I'm going to target the specific listing that I want around this property that is comparable to this property. Number one, for cost effective, right? Brochures cost money more than a postcard. So I'm not going to send 200 brochures to 200 homes. But if there are 5 other properties in the surrounding area or 10 other properties that are equal to the property I just sold, I want those homeowners to get my brochure.
Right. Okay. Okay. What's the 1-year home anniversary mailer, just in the interest of time? I want to touch on that.
Yeah, send it to the actual client instead of, hey, it's been a year since you
Right.
sold your home. Send them the brochure if you have leftovers. It's basically you are already spending the time to create them and the money to print them. So use all of that to get yourself more business. I want to show you guys really quickly. And by the way, yeah, we only had 10 minutes to do this presentation, so I couldn't go through all. We have 3 different brochures. We do a 4-page, an 8-page, and a 12-page brochure.
Yeah, we do the same. We do the same.
Yeah, it would have been too long, but if anyone wants to contact me, I'm very, very happy to share the templates that we have with anybody.
I like your number 6 point about, because I've never thought of that, actually dropping some of the brochures off at like local community shops so that you can promote the listing there as well.
Around the listing, right? So like if I just marketed a property that is in a golf course, go to the country club and drop them off. People are going to be there. Go to the local golf shop where they're selling, gear. Anything related to the property that you're selling. And then obviously referrals. A lot of people build business over referrals. If you are trying to build a network for luxury agents, why not send them a copy of the latest brochure of the last luxury listing or any other listing that you just sold, and just say, I'm here if you ever want to send any referrals my way. I think people will remember you more if they can see the type of caliber of marketing that you can provide to a referral than by you simply sending an email saying, will you refer me business?
Yeah. So I just want to touch on one thing, because when you and I talked about this, you said you had a few ideas, and the one we decided to target to talk about was the property brochures, but the other one was you have really great letters that are yielding you listing opportunities. And one of them you kind of said right now, and guys, this is a great idea. Just reading my message from Susana, is when you get a review or you're telling the story of the success of the sold, send it out and put the review in the letter that you're going to drop or mail into the neighborhood. And that is such a great idea, including the review. And I've never heard anybody do that before.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I truly just target the brochure, but I'm happy to share that letter too with anybody that wants to email me.
No, that's okay.
The idea of it is I write the letter as if it was the homeowner writing the letter, not me. It's not branded. It doesn't come from my company. It just says, dear neighbor, and it's written from the homeowner to their neighbors. And then it just says, as you know, I recently just sold my property in X address with X agent, and she did such an amazing job that I wanted you to hear about it. Here is a snippet of the review that I posted for her and her company online, and here is their contact information. I write the letter on behalf of my client. I send the letter to the client to get approval that it's okay for me to send that letter on their behalf. They all say yes, and then I mail it.
Love it. Someone's asking if you could go back to the numbered slide again really quickly.
Yeah. Which one?
This
one?
The numbered one, I think. Is that what you wanted, Jennifer? I think a couple people want to take a picture of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks. Susanna is not only gorgeous, but she's so well organized.
Yeah,
Hi, Jennifer. And then I want to show you guys the back page. And this is mine in my brochures, but I make it easy for people to connect with me so they can just simply scan my QR code and then they have my entire card on their phone saved. And number two, I always, from the beginning of day one of pre-marketing, bring them back to one place, right? Which is whether it's a landing page, a blog, a property website. And the reason why you do that is because then you can retarget them. So you can follow them around. So this is like the last page of our brochures. And again, if you do the math, yes, my brochures cost probably a little bit more than if I was using a template that I can download from online. But if I get 1 or 2 listings every single year, the ROI, I mean, Joe can probably help me with this because he's so good with numbers. I haven't done mine, but 2 listings a year from people saving my brochures, remembering me because of the marketing or the brochures, or simply winning listings because people just want these brochures.
Yeah.
So
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, tracking ROI matters, right? Like if you're spending, just for a fun exercise, if you're spending $1,000 a month on brochures and flyers, that's $12,000 a year. If you could track 2 transactions that are done from those directly, and the GCI is $30,000, even if you have a 50-50 split with an agent, your agents would have made 15, you would have made 15, so you got your 12 back plus 3. It's not the best return on investment in the world, but there it is. And so it's good to at least know that.
Yeah, and for me, and I'll leave everyone with this. When people walk into an open house, nobody really truly wants to talk to an agent, right? It's like when you go shopping and they come to you and they're like, "Can I help you?" And you're like, "I'm all set." We do the same thing. So when I have this in my hands and I literally walk them through every page of the brochure before I let them go through the home. And I tell them every single thing that it's inside the brochures that they're going to get and why it's there. They look at me like, we've never seen this before. Like nobody took the time to tour me through this and I get to take this home. That's why they remember you. That's why they call you year over year. And I get this all the time. I told my wife the day I met you 6 years ago at an open house that when we went to sell our home, we were going to call you.
So good. I love it.
Well, and Aim, I think something that's important here is in a responsible way, we need to go old school. Like if you've been in the business for 20 something years like I have, you're going like, well, yeah, I mean, flyers, we've just all done those, and brochures, we've all done those a million times. The fact of the matter is over the last couple of years, we have not done those. We've done TikToks and we've done Instagram reels and we've done things like that. And I think maybe we've gotten away from some of the old school principles. Again, within reason. I'm not advocating everybody just goes out and sponsors a bunch of pizza boxes or like the Toronto Maple Leafs hockey calendars. But I think it's cool to find some of those old school things that we can get doing again.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're trying to make fun of the Leafs.
No, I think it's great. Full disclosure. No, I mean, I've interviewed agents that come into my office and they're like, I don't know, like, I just have done business for 20 years around here and no one's calling me anymore. I'm like, well, what are you doing? And they're like, well, we do the, UNLV basketball calendars. And I'm like, all right, well, we got to do other stuff. But but there is some value in things we used to do.
Yeah.
Like there is some value in what it was to be a realtor in 2005.
And the only thing I'll say in all this as we wrap up, and Susana, thank you, that was so good, is guys, if you're going to mail brochures, you're going to hand out brochures, you're going to leave them at your, like in your local community, you're going to, whatever you're doing with, based on what Susana is suggesting, two things. Number one, it has to be loaded with, actually three. Number one, it has to be loaded with value about the property and information about the property. Like everything that a buyer could possibly think of has to be in that listing. So you have to, or in that brochure, so you have to do the work up front and figure out what would the buyers want to know about the property, actually like do our job. Number two, it needs to look beautiful. Like it needs to wow with the design, the aesthetic, and Susana has a beautiful brand. But if you don't, then take the time to figure that out. And Canva they do have amazing templates. Here's the thing. They do have amazing templates, and you can still customize them and load your brochures with value, even if you take it from Canva. And then number three, none of this replaces doing the work of having actual real estate conversations and prospecting. So I just want to say that. Okay, Bryan.
Hello, hello. What's up, you guys? I am super pumped. You know what, Amy, Joe, thank you so much for having me on. We're a local team here in DC, Maryland, Virginia that helps people buy, sell, invest, and rent in residential real estate. 98% of our businesses refer to us, and 71% of our business comes from businesses, so business to business.
Wow.
68% of our business is listings, so we focus on listings. And Susana, you gave me like 3 or 4 nuggets. Like I got notes, I got highlights, I got all kinds of stuff. So thank you.
I love it.
taking
I
notes,
love
which
it.
is awesome. I'm gonna share my screen, you guys. So give me 1 second. Just because I'm super pumped to talk to everyone.
Susana, while Bryan's getting started, can you drop your contact information into the chat?
Yeah. Should I just put my IG handle?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Wow. Okay. All right, guys. So here we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So where do we find sellers and how do we serve them? So our philosophy has been all about trying to be and go after niche markets. And so for us, niche markets is something where a lot of people don't go after in the B2B market, the business to business. I think a little nugget that I want to share with everyone is this. If most realtors, I've been in the business 22 years, so most realtors go, hey, do you know anyone that's thinking about buying or selling? And we got to be really specific. Joe hit it on the nail. Like we got to go old school. I think this is a market that we're in a market share market. This is not 2, 3 years ago. I kept telling everyone on the team and then in the marketplace that it's shifting to a professional real estate agent market. I think we're in a market share market. Like this is a huge opportunity for us to go after the market and get market share. And the way you do that is through niche and through B2B. And so for us, we focus in on estates and seniors and downsizing. And then we also follow in under niche, under family law. So where we put a lot of our time and energy is one, we're SRES, Senior Real Estate Specialist, certified, but we put a lot of time and effort into these seniors and transitioning to assisted living facilities or downsizing, or maybe they're moving in with family into like multi-generational. There is such a huge market, at least in the DC, Maryland, Virginia market. There's this huge shift with baby boomers, and we're just starting to see so many people that have so much equity, no mortgage, and they're trying to cash out, or they're trying to downsize, or people are unhealthy and they're trying to transition to assisted living or other facilities. And so we put most of our time and effort into the senior and downsizing market. And then also, unfortunately, divorces are still, the rate of divorce is still super high. And that's a really unique situation where sometimes they're contested, which get a little crazy, but most of the time it's uncontested. And maybe you have a couple that's selling the house and both want to buy. Or maybe one is going to stay in the house, they need a refinance, and one's going to be moving out and looking for a rental or a place to buy. But in most cases, there's some kind of movement. There's some kind of market, some kind of life change. And so those two markets are the two markets we really, really focus in on within niche. The B2B is something I think is so untapped. And we're real estate agents, right? We're professional real estate agents. And so I think there is a opportunity in this market in the next 24 to 36 months to be partnering with like financial planners, our mortgage lenders, business bankers, bankers in general, CPAs and tax professionals. And then also one thing that we have done a really good job of, and I'll talk a little more, is we built our own home services networking group. And so each month we run what's called the HSC or Home Services Collective. And so it allows us to really put ourselves front and center in front of all these other home service providers that are already in homes, that are fixing up these homes, repairing these homes. And in most cases, people are thinking about getting their houses ready before they even talk to a realtor. In some cases, they talk to the realtor, what do I need to do to get the house ready? But in some cases, at least in our market, we're seeing people replace carpet, painting. And so our strategy was, why not partner with those people, those providers, those owners, those businesses? And if we can get a leg up and get in the house before they go ahead and the homeowners start talking to realtors, maybe those home service partners can mention our name or give us as a referral to someone that's thinking about selling. And so that has been a big opportunity for us to capture sellers and capture marketing and listing presentations.
So explain that, or are you going to explain that a little bit more? The Home Services Collective?
I can go into it. I didn't know. I know we only had like 10, 12 minutes, Aim, but
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
the Home Services Collective meeting, it's so a lot of people are familiar with like Lead Share or Chamber or even like BNI, which are all awesome organizations. I was like, why not really focus and build my own real estate home services networking group? And so we have 25 different home service partners. Actually, tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So our meetings are every month, the third Tuesday from 3 to 4:30, and I lead them. And we theme every meeting. So it's crazy. We do crazy stuff. So there's a meeting fee. There's also an annual fee. So it's also a revenue generator. I'll talk about it. I'm really big into ancillary. So this is an income producing networking event that I have businesses pay me each month and then each year. And so this is an opportunity for me to help create this ecosystem of home service providers that allow me to leverage, hey, painter, you should talk to the flooring. Hey, roofer, you should talk to the windows and siding company. Hey, stager, you should connect with the organizer or designer
Right.
because there's a
Okay.
symbiotic relationship.
Okay.
And that's worked out really, really well, which is cool. And so we
Love
keep leveraging that, which is awesome. But then how do we serve them, right? And our motto is where everyone goes left, we go right. And so when I wake up every morning, I'm like, how can I impact? How can I generate a new opportunity for both me and the team? And then we implemented what's called the EYE program. And it's called the Exceed Your Expectations. I'll kind of run through it, but what EYE was all about was, what are those little things that we do differently and above and beyond whatever anyone else in your market can do? And so for us, there's little things I'll go over, and then ancillary services is what I'll hit on. Okay, so when everyone goes left, we go right. So like little things like this. If you called my cell phone, I change my voicemail greeting 7 days a week. And you probably don't want to have it on speaker because you're going to scare the kids and elderly. But if you guys get a chance, I'll put my contact information up in a second, but you guys should absolutely reach out and listen to my voicemail greeting. I've been changing.
You're gonna get like 100 phone calls now.
Awesome. You know what's cool? It's so good because I never answer my phone. And that's a whole nother conversation. But I think what happens is I think people get beat down. I've been in 3 different markets. This is my 4th market. And I think people are like, yeah, I'm a real estate agent and I'm excited. And we kind of take this reactive, passive approach. And I will tell you guys, I love Mondays. Mondays are a trigger for me to go get it. And the team is all triggered to go get it for the week. We also wanted to create a lingering, lasting impression with every single person that we ever engage with, whether we go to a restaurant, whether we go wherever we can, especially with our sellers, especially with our buyers, but especially with our sellers, because for every listing we get, our goal is to get 2 new clients. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's our goal. For every listing we get, our goal is to get 2 new clients from that. The cookie machine that we've had a cookie machine since 2005. We bake 484 cookies a month, and the goal is that we leave a lingering, lasting impression. And it's just a little touch, right? Hey, Mr. Seller, we put the sign in the yard. Just want to let you know everything looks good. Here's a bag of cookies. Oh, lockbox is on. We're dropping off the marketing brochures. Here's some cookies. And so everywhere we go and everything we do, we always trying to go ahead and leverage how do you leave a lingering, lasting impression so that people automatically think when they think real estate, they think of TVRG Homes or Bryan Felder or anyone on the team. And then we leverage our 3 pillars, and those are the last 3 bullets: our years of experience, our professionalism, and then our clients and how we put them first. And just going above and beyond, which is something that we really lean into. This next slide, I know I'm talking fast, you guys, and I apologize, but this is something, hopefully you guys are doing this. I'm sure everyone's doing some variation of this, but before any appointment, you should definitely go ahead and be sending out your listing or marketing packet or dropping it off. A lot of people right now, a lot of realtors that I've noticed, you have to identify your target buyer demographic. Too many times we're just putting a house on the market in the MLS. We're putting a sign in the yard. We're doing some open houses, maybe doing a broker open, maybe we're doing some door knocking, but we got to get aggressive. Like we got to get super proactive. And I mean like calling, like in our area, we call embassies on Embassy Row in DC. Hey, do you have any diplomats or anyone coming overseas that may be a good fit for this house? We're calling HR departments and we're calling companies and we're calling businesses and we're like, hey, are you guys expanding? Do you guys need anyone that may be in the market for this kind of house? And so for us, it's really identifying with our sellers who's most likely to buy their house and then really identifying a marketing strategy and campaign on how we can go ahead and attack the market, not wait for the market to come to us. Another part of the EYE or exceed your expectations. One of our movers will drop off moving supplies and packing supplies and bubble wrap and tape for any estimate, not for the job themselves. Before, when we get a appointment to go meet with a seller, after we meet with the seller, we have our mover drop off packing supplies to really position us if we're in a competitive situation. Also, it's just a nice touch to drop off moving supplies and boxes. And our mover loves to do that because they get an opportunity to get some face time. In some cases, we've actually paid for the move in and move out cleaning for our sellers. And so that is just a value add. We've partnered with local businesses, as I've mentioned, in the home services arena to be able to offer some of the value add. Plus, it just gives them an opportunity to get into a house, clean a house, leave their brochures or business cards, and hopefully secure that service contract with the buyer. Mentioned the network of home service providers, and I can always talk about that at a later date, but really leveraging your network of home service providers. Everyone has a painter or handyman, everyone has a stager or organizer, but do you have a garage door person? Do you have a pool person? Do you have someone that does masonry and concrete? Do you have someone that does power washing? How are you leveraging those people and coordinating those people on behalf of your seller to say, seller, don't worry about it. I manage this. Our team will literally go ahead and manage this from soup to nuts from A to Z. We have a contract with Domino's Pizza. And so on closing day or moving day, our clients get to choose. We pay for a pizza bundle. And it's 2 large pizzas, a 2-liter soda, and cinnamon sticks or buffalo wings. And we provide that for them because we don't want our sellers to worry about when they're transitioning or moving. There's too many other moving pieces and things going on that we don't want them to think about. The other thing I think, and hopefully everyone's doing this, before a buyer does a home inspection for your listing, we make sure that our clients are writing a personal note to the buyer. Congratulations, we're so excited that you're buying our house. We go by with water and granola bars and snacks for both the inspector, the buyer's agent, and the buyers. And we do that for every inspection.
Wow.
Kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it's next level.
Just a little different. It
Yeah.
also helps because it minimizes the amount of repair items that the buyer may be like, you know what, that was a little important, but you know what, the sellers are super cool. This has been such a great process. You know what, we'll just take care of it on our own. And so we've been able to alleviate and avoid some home inspection items that should have been negotiated or talked about or brought up and be able to go ahead and push those out. The other is we always meet every appraiser with a full packet to ensure the evaluation comes in at or above. And so for us, it's really important that we want the appraiser to call us. It's also an opportunity for us to connect with that appraiser. And maybe there's an opportunity where we send a personal note to the appraiser for coming out and doing the appraisal. In some cases in the past, we've actually had the appraiser come across a different client that's doing a pre-list appraisal and they actually put our name in the hat. So I think there's some really cool things there.
Brian, so much value in this list. I have a question for you. That list that you just shared with us, is this something that you do afterwards, almost like above and beyond, like surprise and awe to your client? Or do you tell them when you're presenting your services, this is what's included? Do they know this is coming, or do they not know, and then all of a sudden it's like rehashing your value with them?
That's a really great question.
Yeah, it is. Susana, we do not tell them. We want them to know and experience what the unexpected can be. And so remember, from start to finish, we started off with dropping off a marketing or listing packet with a bag of cookies. We literally follow up before and during. We're really big on client events. So we do these micro events and client events. So even before we secure a client or a listing appointment, we know a listing appointment's coming up. We'll invite our clients to an upcoming listing. Like we have a couple ice cream socials coming up this summer. We have a couple of listing appointments this week that we will invite them, be like, hey, you know what, even if we don't end up working together, just want to let you know we do these client events and you and the family are more than welcome to come and go get a free scoop of ice cream on us. So like we lay the groundwork up front. Because our business is 98% referred to us, we really lean heavily into the referring source. And so we acknowledge the referring source more than we acknowledge the actual client themselves.
What do you send to the referring source? Have you covered that? Did I miss it, or have you not shared that?
I haven't. And you know what, like I said, there's so much to talk about. I could definitely talk on that as well, but we really, because we put almost all of our time and energy into our current clients and our referral sources, we don't go out to market looking for new leads. We go out and we build relationships with our existing clients, and they are the ones that send us our referrals. And so maybe or Joe, maybe that's another discussion, maybe talking on another call, like how referral-based businesses work. But I think the biggest thing, and again, I don't want to take up too much time, but I think this is really big for all of us. And this market has shifted so much. I have been really focused on ancillary. And so I've been putting a lot of time and effort into building these additional revenue streams. So Max House Price is a pre-list renovation company that does basically renovations up front with no cost to the seller. We'll do projects, have 10 employees in that company, and we will do renovations from 10 grand all the way up to 400,000 per project. And then we go ahead and we work with the seller all the way through, like designer, project managers, home renovation consultant, literally walks them through the entire process and manages their process. It's also a good time while you're doing the pre-list to be able to go ahead and market and use social to be able to talk about a coming soon house that's about to come on the market fully renovated.
I love it.
Oh, go ahead, Jamie.
No, I was just gonna say we need to give Sasha a few minutes.
Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, you guys, we could always talk about ancillary. Just make sure you guys are adding in ancillary, and then last is really my contact information. But
I wrote that down actually. Two future RocketFuel topics: ancillary and referral-based business. So
yeah, I think the power so far with both Susana and Brian is just fighting the definition of insanity. I think there's a lot of people today that are just going like, I'm doing what I've always done. Why is it not working? Which is the very definition of insanity. So thinking outside the box, trying new things, not everything's going to work, but being active, beating every bush. I mean, that's really what people who are going to succeed in today's real estate economy are going to do. Is they're going to get old school. They're going to be, they're going to use a combination of like marketing brochures and AI and like everything in between, but they're just going to avoid insanity, which is super important.
All right, Sasha.
Guys, I'm jumping
in. Hit us with the fire.
So funny. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like Brian, we do so many of the same things, but what I'm hearing even more than like doing the things you've always done, I'm reminded that like we need to be doing the things we used to do back before things started moving so fast. Like all of these things, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a great note. Oh my gosh, we used to do pizzas. Oh my gosh, we used to drop off the moving supplies. And it's like, we didn't have to do it. And that's okay. Markets shift, no judgment. But now we do, you know, we've got to like do that extra layer to come out on top. So I had so much fun taking notes. Bryan had like 10 slides for 10 minutes, which seems reasonable. I think I have 26. So I'm going to flip through quickly. And at the end of it, I will get email addresses somehow. I will send you all these slides. And of course it's recorded, but I'd rather give you guys more things that you can go implement immediately than less. First thing I talk about, how are we getting sellers? Having a lot of conversations with sellers about getting off the fence. Things like, for $50,000 more or $100,000 more while the market is still hot, before the market starts coming down, would you consider living with family? Would you consider staying with someone else short term? Would you move into an Airbnb briefly? We set up all sorts of agreements with storage facilities, short-term furnished rentals nearby. We came up with places that we could put sellers to displace them if they were if you're a seller and you know that the house you're in is not your dream house and it's not the house you want to be in long term, and you start saying, okay, but where will I go? Well, that's okay. We don't have to figure that out today. Let's take advantage of the highest and best market to sell your house and get the best equity that we can for your house before the market continues to drop and you continue to fight more and more competition. And let's figure out a place to put you. And then maybe you can buy later when the competition is higher. So having conversations, because everybody's answer is, yeah, but where would I go? Yeah, but how would I get out of it? Why would I leave my interest rate? Well, that's a sunk cost, right? If you're not going to be in that house long term, that's a sunk cost. That's something you're going to have to address sooner than later. So you might as well make the most of the equity that you have right now. So having a lot of conversations, just trying to get sellers off the fence. I'm not going to go through the entire process of private financing or equity financing options, but the idea is, instead of having to do a bridge loan, is there a possibility? There's all sorts of services. There's all sorts of products out there. You guys are mostly in larger markets than I am here in Charlottesville, Virginia, but places that will help you call it a cash sale, that will lend you private money for essentially what is a bridge loan up to, 180 days, where you pay that money back to them so you can sell your house, but you can buy another home in cash. And then if you're comfortable with the idea of a long bridge option that's at a fairly affordable interest rate, that is something that a lot of companies in town, so private equity financing, so that you can buy a home without selling yours first, so that you can buy your dream home, and then selling is the easier side. So we have a lot of conversations about that, and that's like a whole call in itself. But if you find yourself talking to a lot of people that would sell, but they just can't figure out how to bridge it, then that's something to start really kind of like educating yourself in. So that's like, okay, how are we getting a couple more sellers here and there to say they're willing, like they know they want to sell? How do we get them to the point where they're willing to actually put their house on the market? And then from here on out, I am just a systems person. I listed 85 properties myself last year. So I listed all of our 85 sellers on behalf of our team. We're just a team of 6 agents. We do about 325 transactions in a year. So we're 6 mega productive agents, but it's all systems. Like, we're not rocket scientists. We're not brain surgeons. We're not smarter than anybody else. We're just super duper systematized. So I'm just putting in a ton of screenshots of things that we have systematized, so that our process goes smoother and everyone has the same experience every time. If you don't have a seller profile form, I'd highly recommend it, whether you use Woohoo Forms or Google Form, what have you. All these slides are in here so you can take all the questions, but basically you get them to get some skin in the game, right? They're taking some time, they're filling some information out. Tell me your address, tell me your phone number, who's your spouse, how many beds, how many baths. Of course, we know all of this information, but we're trying to take a little of their time to start committing to this form. In the last 5 years, what improvements or upgrades have you made? If you were staying in your home for another 5 years, what maintenance? Again, we're just getting their commitment. What's motivating you to sell your home right now? And then on the final page of it, We ask them, do you currently have a mortgage remaining in your home? Are your mortgage balance, is your mortgage current? What do you think your home was worth at the peak of the last market? And what do you think your home is worth now? This was one of the best things I implemented, because every single seller, we don't go to the appointment, we don't get on the Zoom call if they haven't filled this form out, and it forces a number. You can't just fill out like none of your business, or that's why I'm calling you. You have to fill out a number. And so every single seller is telling me what they think the answer is to their value before I go on that listing presentation, which just from a system standpoint saves me an hour on every listing presentation with running comp, because now all I'm trying to do is say, can I get their answer? Can I solve for their answer, or are they way off? And then I spend most of the time in the presentation just building rapport and starting to set their expectations if their answer is not the right answer, is not supported by the market. Right?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what I love about this, Sasha, is in a world where the only opinion that matters is the opinion of the seller, how about you just get the opinion of the seller first?
Right.
Because how often
enough to just ask for it.
Yeah, how often would we go in and say like, all right, okay, Susana, here's what I think, and then you're like way above or way under, or like way off. It's just it's like selling things 101. Like I sell stupid stuff on OfferUp all the time, and someone will say like, what's your lowest offer? Or like, what's your lowest you're willing to take? And I'm like, that's a great question. What's the most you're willing to pay? And it's like, I always want them to give a number before I'm willing to give a number. So
for sure. And then you don't have that lack of confidence where you go in panicking. Like, what if I'm so far off and I just wasted all this time? Right.
I have a quick question for you. On that form, do you ask them if they're interviewing other agents and who they are, or do you ask that at the property?
I ask them if they're interviewing other agents, and then I ask them in the property who they are, because I think in the form people kind of dance around the answer of names, like they just name companies. I want to know their exact names, so I'll just really gently push like, I'm really glad you're interviewing other people. I think that's really, really smart. If you don't mind me asking, what other agents are you planning to meet with, just so I can sort of differentiate what our marketing will look like compared to theirs. Right. People will answer if you just go in confident. I think people tell you everything that you ask.
It's half the battle.
Yeah, truly. I mean, yeah. If you go in like you own it, I will say, hearing Bryan say the home delivery, we got off of that for a while too. We have couriers that will take the packet, and we've got like a really nice seller's guide. We've got a pricing guide that I'm going to talk to you more about. Some sample, some old sample postcards. We have that delivered at their home. So by the time I'm talking to them on the phone, hopefully they are already impressed. I have my digital seller book online, which there will be a link to in the slides so you can go through. And then in our pricing guide, we run our stats. And basically I'm like, okay, we sold a house 22 days faster than the average agent in our market. And then we run this, on average, we secure sellers at 2.17% higher sales price than the typical agent. On a $300,000 home, that's over $6,500, $5,000 home, that's over $10,000 in extra equity. That means sellers who hire Story House earn an average of more than 2% or more on their home sale than with other. And so like, if you don't have those stats, I'm sure you do have some stats, and we put it all in this booklet so that like we've done the sales pitch before we get there. And then we've systematized our timeline as well. So we give them our exact timeline so they sort of understand, if you go through it's like, here's the standard timeline, but it can be compressed into as few as 5 days, because we don't list houses on the weekend. Like, I don't believe that's the best way to sell your house. So I don't want to get a call on a Friday and have you say, oh, I must get my house on the market on Sunday morning. I don't think that's going to sell your house for the highest and best price. So we lay all of this out, and I will tell you, I have not lost a listing presentation unless it's somebody that wants to price way higher than I'm comfortable. I have not lost a listing presentation probably in like 5 years. So the idea of like, you don't have to run over to the appointment on a Saturday afternoon and get the photos out on Sunday and spend your whole entire weekend listing the house at the, drop of a hat. It's because we have a system that sort of explains that.
Sasha,
I put a link. Oh, go ahead.
Sasha, I was going to say, you know what? You're doing a great job. So you guys do a great job setting the expectations up front, so sellers know exactly what they can expect from you. And there's no question. It's
right.
Really,
and it's like, you're calling us, I assume, because of our process and our success. I assume you called me because you saw, I did a great job here. This is how we sell houses.
great.
Well, if you want that outcome, you've got to follow the plan that got you there. Otherwise, I don't want to make any false promises.
Awesome.
I don't want to set us up for failure.
Yeah, it's great.
the little pricing strategy booklet, this is just 5 slides that just, you can, again, take all of this. We all know that people are trying to overprice their houses. These are slides that really explain, like, it's not like when they're like, well, we paid for it, we paid this and we put this into it, and our neighbor next door said this, and we just got it as that, you know, appraised yesterday for this. We go through in much more detail, but this is in their hand before I get there. So hopefully we're not spending a lot of time in the or in their house talking about it. But it's got all sorts of like, okay, price your house right. Like, here's what happens when you don't, because we're in that market where like a lot of us can get listings right now, but they're stagnating again, and nobody knows what to do with that. And so it's like, the more time we spend on the front end planning for this, the better. And then the last couple of slides, I know we are officially out of time. If you guys will give me permission, I know this is recorded, so you can always jump back on later. If you'll give me permission to go like 2 more minutes, I just want to introduce a couple of ideas. Circle prospecting, we do the same thing with postcards. On the front side, we'll have like, there's nobody more invested in Spring Creek than a fellow neighbor. Like, we have this house for sale. We know you know people who love this neighborhood. We want to maintain highest and best value for your entire neighborhood. Like, please tell your friends this house is for sale. And then we do the same thing where we will get testimonials from, like, once we've sold a house, we will get, we do a lot of client profiles where we'll send a professional photographer in their house to get a sweet picture that they can use on their just, you know, like just moved, new address, whatever postcard they send out to their friends. We also put them on some of our client profiles online. But if we have a really great sale in a neighborhood, we have these photos where we've gotten a photographer to take a picture of them. We pair it up with their really great testimonial, and then we put it on a postcard that says, like, oh, here's 2 houses that just sold in your neighborhood. This was 4 days, multiple offers, 5 days, multiple offers. And here is the testimonial with your neighbor's name on it. And sometimes it's like, you know, sometimes it's a really difficult neighbor. Sometimes it's like the mayor of the neighborhood, but it's like, oh, if they thought Sasha did a good job, like, they must be pretty good at selling houses. If the next door neighbor who I've met is sort of willing to put their name to that. And then for anybody who hasn't heard of this, Land Voice is a really amazing tool where you can sort of circle prospect, you know, like the hard part of circle prospecting, like we've created these little postcards for our agents that's like, has them on it, and it has open house, and they can just fill out the property address and the time and the date, and they can send it to, so like we've got each of our agents, I mean, these are just simple Canva templates. They're super cheap. Wow, it's really hard to do this from a little monitor. So they want to send open house invites to the neighbors, and Land Voice is a really nice app that, you know, you can always get the mailing addresses, but it'll also pull phone numbers for the entire neighborhood, or not the entire neighborhood, but a lot of the neighborhood. And it cross checks it against the do not call list. So then you can call neighbors and say, hey, we're just trying to make sure we cover all our bases and keep neighborhood values high. Like, we're hosting an open house on Sunday, blah, blah, blah. I hope you'll join. So these are just like throwing ideas out there. And then the last thing we do is client updates. We do this every week. We have somebody on Upwork. We have a virtual assistant pull all the data from Zillow, Realtor.com, the MLS, how many photos got viewed, how many showings there were, how many people looked at their Facebook posts, their Instagram posts. They do this for it's just in a spreadsheet. They look on every single post we made about every single listing. They fill the information out for each listing, and then we send this to them on Monday. And usually we'll do a ChatGPT summary where we drop all, you know, say we have 10 listings that are available. We drop all of them in ChatGPT. We say, here's what's happened at all 10 of our listings this past week. Now I'm going to reach out to my seller at 123 Main Street. Can you summarize how her showings and her activity compared to all of the other listings we had available this week, so that they get a really nice summary that we can then copy and paste and send to our seller and say, like, hey, you're underperforming a little bit, or hey, you got like 50,000 views online and no one's coming, probably because you're priced $50,000 too high, right? So the idea is filling it with data and systems so that they're never like, oh, well, we've sat on the market for 2 or 3 weeks and, you know, Sasha's not talking to us anymore. So probably it's her fault that the house isn't selling right away. So those are our little systems. They've been really helpful. They make it manageable. But yeah, you're right, Bryan, when you say it's all about expectation setting and getting into that relationship with them, knowing how it's going to go so that they understand, you know, exactly what the outcome is going to look like, and they don't blame you when it doesn't go like exactly to course, which seems to be how most of the listings are going right now. So I will drop in the chat a little link. So if you click on the link, it'll ask you for your, if you fill in your email address, it'll automatically email you the full setup slide. And then this is all, feel free to take it, copy it, make it better, send it back my way so that we can make ours better. And happy selling season. 4 minutes.
It was Sasha, this was amazing and super valuable, but this whole session was just like off the charts good. Absolutely incredible. Guys, thank you so much. Yeah, Sasha, I'm going to give you a chance. Let's drop it in there. Yeah, if we can just give our appreciation, if you want to drop in the chat any gratitude or appreciation for these guys for taking the time to share with us. You know it's good. You know it's gold when like 98% of the people that logged in are still here and we're over time. So thank you so much, Susana, Bryan, Sasha. You guys are absolutely amazing. Guys, go follow them on social media. Make sure that you know who they are so that you can send referrals their way. If you're not in their market, send referrals to them. Yes, and Leilani just posted the register for halftime link. Make sure you guys have that. And where you can catch the RocketFuel replays, that's in the chat as well. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Have an amazing week.